Ever walked past one of those captivating product demos and found yourself totally drawn in?
Yeah,
Like you just had to stop and see what all the buzz was about.
happens all the time.
Well, get ready to go behind the scenes of those eye-catching displays because today we're diving into the world of promotions demonstrators.
It's a role that goes way beyond just, handing out samples and smiling.
Right. It's like a mix of salesmanship, showmanship, and really knowing how to connect with people.
It really is.
And to guide our deep dive, we're turning to RoleCatcher. They've got this awesome guide specifically for promotions demonstrators.
Oh yeah, they're a great resource for this kind of stuff. Career insights, you name it.
Seriously, it breaks down everything, daily tasks, long-term career paths.
It's like a cheat sheet for anyone who's even remotely curious about this kind of work.
Exactly. So let's start with the basics. What does a promotions demonstrator actually do?
Okay, so forget those images of someone just standing there passively with flyers.
Yeah, like a statue.
Yeah. RoleCatcher paints a much more dynamic picture. We're talking about someone who is actively engaging with potential customers.
Creating an experience,
Nice.
right?
Yes.
Not just explaining a product, but really making people stop, listen, and want to learn more.
You've got it. It's a much more interactive approach than you might initially think.
Okay, that makes sense. But what kind of skills do you need to pull that off? Is it all about just being a people person?
Well, being personable definitely helps, right?
Yeah.
Because you are the face of the product.
You're it.
But RoleCatcher emphasizes that it takes more than just a friendly face.
Okay, what else?
You need genuine sales savvy, too. You've got to persuade people about the value of what you're showcasing, and that takes strategy.
And product knowledge, of course, right?
Oh, absolutely. Can't forget that.
You can't demonstrate something effectively if you don't understand it inside and out.
Exactly. A deep understanding of the product is crucial. This isn't just about memorizing a script. It's about being able to answer questions on the spot, tailoring your approach to each customer's needs.
So you've got to be adaptable, knowledgeable, and engaging.
That's the trifecta.
That's quite the combination. Now, where does all this magic happen? Is it a typical office setting?
Nope, not at all. And that's another really cool thing that RoleCatcher highlights, the variety of places you could end up working.
Oh, tell me more.
We're talking retail stores, bustling trade shows, community events.
So fun. You could even find yourself traveling for regional or national product launches.
Exactly. It's not a desk job, that's for sure.
Forget the cubicle.
Exactly.
This sounds like a career for someone who thrives on variety and like being on the move.
Absolutely. And that constant interaction with people and places, that's a major draw for a lot of folks who choose this path.
Yeah, I can see that. But of course, like any job, there are two sides to every coin, right?
Right.
It does sound like being a promotions demonstrator has some serious perks, but let's be real, no job is perfect.
True, true.
What are some of the challenges, I guess?
Yeah, and RoleCatcher doesn't sugarcoat things either.
Good.
They get into both the rewarding aspects and the challenges.
Okay, so hit me with the good stuff first. What are the biggest perks that stood out to you?
Well, besides that really dynamic work environment we talked about,
Yeah.
there's often the potential for performance-based bonuses.
Oh, nice.
So if you're really good at what you do,
Dash money.
you can directly impact your earnings.
I like it. What else?
The continuous skill building is a major plus too. I mean, you are always interacting with people, learning about new products, and just like constantly refining your sales techniques.
It's like you're leveling up your professional skill set, but also getting paid for it.
Exactly. It's a win-win.
Totally. But you mentioned challenges too. RoleCatcher brought up a few, I think.
Right.
What were some of those?
One of the biggest ones is probably the potential for, well, irregular hours.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Depending on, the products you're promoting, the events.
Yep.
You might have to work evenings, weekends, maybe even travel on short notice.
So flexibility is key.
Absolutely, yeah. And while dealing with people is a huge part of the job,
For sure.
RoleCatcher reminds us that not all customers are created equal.
Oh, I can imagine. Not everyone is going to be receptive to your, amazing product demonstration skills.
Exactly, and that's where those core skills RoleCatcher talks about, they become even more crucial. Persuasion and
Persuasion, yeah.
active listening.
Oh, active listening, right.
Yes.
Okay, persuasion I get. You've got to get people excited about the product.
Mm-hmm.
But how does active listening play into that?
Well, think about it this way. Persuasion, when it's done right, it's not about just bombarding someone with a ton of information.
Right.
It's about understanding their needs and then tailoring your pitch to actually address those needs directly.
Oh, so it's about connecting with the individual, not just giving a canned presentation.
Exactly. And you can't do that effectively unless you're actually listening to what your potential customer is saying.
Both verbally and non-verbally, probably too, huh?
Totally. Like,
Yeah.
are they interested but hesitant? Are they looking for a specific feature?
Oh, yeah.
Active listening helps you pick up on those cues.
That makes a lot of sense. Okay, so we talked about those core skills, but RoleCatcher also mentioned that technology is becoming more and more important in this role.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
You've got to be comfortable with online tools and platforms and all of that these days.
It's not enough to just be great in person anymore. Especially with like how much of our lives have moved online, especially after the pandemic. Companies are reaching potential customers through social media, virtual demos.
It's a whole new world.
It really is. And that means that promotions demonstrators need to adapt too.
So you need like a digital toolkit now.
Yeah, exactly. Like imagine you're demonstrating a new tech gadget at a trade show. You might use a tablet to, showcase the features.
Oh, yeah.
Live stream your demonstration to a bigger online audience.
Very cool.
Even use things like augmented reality.
That's wild. So it's not just about being comfortable with the tech, it's about like being creative with it.
Exactly. Using it strategically to really enhance those demonstrations.
And reach a wider audience too.
Yes. And that's where RoleCatcher's insights are super valuable. They don't just tell you tech is important, they actually tell you how to use it.
They give you the tools.
Yeah. But that's a whole other thing we can dive into.
It's amazing how tech has become such a big part of this. It really changes how you think about this role. It's not just a temporary gig, right? You can actually build a real career out of being a promotions demonstrator.
You absolutely can. And RoleCatcher lays that all out for you.
They do.
Oh, yeah. They break it down into different stages, how you can start as a trainee, work your way up to senior demonstrator, even move into management or training.
Okay, so they show you like the growth path.
Exactly.
That's really cool. But what does it actually take to move up?
Well, RoleCatcher gets into the specifics for each stage. Like as a trainee, you'd be focused on product knowledge, nailing those presentations, those basic sales techniques we talked about.
Got it.
But once you get to senior demonstrator, you need to show more leadership, maybe mentor new hires.
Makes sense.
They even talk about analyzing sales data to help your team.
Wow, so it's not just about being good at the demonstrations, you've got to have other skills too.
Exactly. It's about leveling up as you go. And they also really emphasize networking.
Oh yeah, that's huge in any field, I bet.
Totally. Going to industry events, joining organizations.
Meeting people.
Yeah, putting yourself out there, learning from others. Because things are changing so fast.
Right, you got to stay ahead of the game. But RoleCatcher doesn't just tell you to network, they actually help you do it, don't they?
Right? Remember we were talking about tech?
Yeah.
They have this AI resume builder that's amazing.
Oh, cool.
It analyzes job descriptions and tells you exactly how to tailor your resume so you're a perfect match.
That's so smart. So you're not just sending out some generic thing and hoping for the best.
Nope. And get this, employers use RoleCatcher to find candidates.
Wow, no way.
Yeah. So if your profile's a good fit, they might contact you before you even apply.
That's amazing. Okay, so RoleCatcher is good for if you like to go the traditional route too, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Like if you have an interview,
Yeah.
they have a ton of practice questions, and they even use AI to help you come up with the perfect answers.
It's like having a personal coach.
Right. You can even record yourself answering questions and get feedback on how you look and sound.
That's so cool.
It's really incredible how they've thought of everything to help you do well. And it just goes to show you that this career path, it's not what it used to be. You can't just rely on charisma or sales skills anymore.
Yeah, you've got to have the tech skills too. Right?
Exactly. And you've got to be constantly learning and growing to really succeed. It's a really dynamic field to be in.
Well said. Being a promotions demonstrator today takes a lot of people skills, strategic thinking, knowing how to use tech. It's really interesting how it all comes together. So, as we wrap up our deep dive into the world of promotions demonstrators, here's something to think about. As technology keeps changing so rapidly, how else might it shape this profession in the future? The possibilities are really exciting. This is The Deep Dive, signing off.